Hey guys, so today I'm going to be filming a review on the ColourPop Lippie Primer, Lippy Pencil, and Lippy Stick. But before I get into that, I wanted to remind you about the giveaway I have going on right now. Today is the last day to enter to win this gorgeous Twisted Silver archery bracelet. I will have the video linked down below so you can see how I style this piece, and you can also learn all the information on the giveaway. But today will be your very last day to enter this giveaway, so make sure you hop over there and get the chance to win this gorgeous piece. So now into the review. First I'm going to start with the lip primer. For price and availability, this is $5 and you can find it on ColourPop.com. This was a limited time only release that came out right before the holidays, but just a couple days ago they made this part of their permanent collection, as well as a couple other shades that were limited edition from the holidays and the holiday Lippy Stick set. So check out their website for that. So I was really happy to find out that this is now permanent, because I know some people were really interested in picking this up. So for the packaging, it looks exactly the same as their Lippy Stick. It says primer on the bottom and it has the same slanted applicator. So for scent and flavor, these are the same vanilla scent that the rest of their Lippy Sticks are and their Lippy Pencils, but it isn't a super overpowering vanilla, and I feel like it has a little bit of a plasticky scent to it. It's not too strong, but I can still tell that it's there. So for the claims, I'm going to read them to you off this card that came in my package with the Lippy Primer. It says that our Lippy Primer enhances the wear of any lip product and keeps your lips looking and feeling healthy. Our primer contains itty-bitty spherical beads that fill in fine lines, making lips instantly smooth and plump. It also contains mango, avocado, and shea butter for moisture, and vitamin E, which soothes your lips. So my final verdict on the Lippy Primer is that it isn't a must-have. I don't feel like the claims actually work for me. It doesn't fill my lines, it doesn't help plump my lips, and I don't feel like it actually prolongs the wear of my lipstick. I do, however, think that this is a nice prep step, especially if you're somebody that likes to apply a lip balm beforehand. I think that this would work well as the same thing. It won't be heavy or cakey on your lips, but it will give a nice smooth base for your Lippy Sticks to go on top of. I don't think that this is a must-have, but I am happy to have this. I don't think any lip primer is a must-have, to be honest with you. So if you have tried this, please let me know what your thoughts are on it. But I'm just happy that a drugstore brand does offer a lip primer. I think that is a really cool concept. So now moving on to the Lippy Pencils. Again, price and availability, they are $5 on ColourPop.com. And here is what the packaging looks like. It is a nice sleek white packaging. There is the name ColourPop and some holographic writing, and we have a color swatch on the bottom to indicate what the shade is, which I think is really helpful when you have a bunch of them, and also the name is on the lip liner as well. So I think that is really, really nice. One thing I don't like about the packaging is that this is plastic, so you can sharpen it, but you really need to be careful which sharpener that you use. I have not sharpened mine yet. I'm honestly kind of scared about it. My friend Ami uses the Milani pencil sharpener and thinks that it works well, so I have that too, so I'm going to try it out. But I hate sharpening plastic. I think that's so annoying. I wish that this was a twist up. That would have made the packaging just a bit better. But overall, I do like the look of the packaging, and I love the color swatch on the bottom, and I do find that it accurately represents the color. So as far as shades go, there are a ton. Every Lippy Stick has a matching Lippy Pencil, which I love, and the color of the Lippy Pencil is not always the same as the Lippy Stick. I will show you some examples here, but I find that for the more nude shades, the lip liner is going to be 2 to 3 shades darker, but for some of the deeper shades or the more neon shades, it's going to be about 1 shade darker or just about the same shade. So it really does just depend on which one that you buy. So I did not buy a matching lip liner for all these lipsticks, because for some of them I did not like the lip liner at all. So for instance, I will show you all of the lip liners that I have now. The first shade I have is called Wet. It is a cool tone taupe gunmetal, and here is a swatch of it right here. This is a dupe for MAC Stone lip pencil. The next one I have is Bound, which is described as a light pink nude, and here is the swatch of it right here. So this is the Lippy Pencil and this is the Lippy Stick in Bound, and as you can see, these are two completely different colors because this is one of the lighter shades in the range. So that's definitely something you want to make note of. And the Bound Lippy Pencil is a dupe for MAC's Whirl lip liner. The next one I have is Cake, which is described as a bright pastel peachy pink, and here is a swatch of it right there. And if you can see right here, the Lippy Stick and Lippy Pencil are just about the exact same shade for this one because it is one of the neon shades. The last shade I have is Brills, which is described as a true cool tone lavender. Here is a swatch of it here, and as you can see, the Lippy Pencil on the top and the Lippy Stick on the bottom are just about the exact same color. I will insert a swatch picture from my Instagram of the Lippy Pencils. So I'm going to read you the claims off of the card that comes with the Lippy Pencils. It says, this long-wearing, high-intensity lip pencil glides on easily, acts as a barrier for lipsticks, and prevents feathering. Use a Lippy Pencil to shade the outermost edge of your lip line. For longer wear, fill in lips completely with your Lippy Pencil. Follow with your matching Lippy Stick. So for scent and flavor, again, they do have that vanilla, slightly plastic scent, which I do enjoy. For pigmentation, these are fully opaque, which I love. As you can see, these are all really, really opaque, and I didn't go over them a bunch of times. It was literally one swipe. So I absolutely love that. I think that is quite impressive. And my favorite part about these is the application. These lip pencils are very creamy, so these are going to be perfect for filling in your lips completely. I love my NYX retractable lip liners, but I do not like to fill my lips in with them because it will feel very cakey and heavy and thick. I do not have that with these pencils when I fill in my lips completely. One thing I wanted to mention about the Lippy Pencils is that all of these have the same finish. It is a creamy satin finish, no matter what the finish of the Lippy Stick is. So, for example, this is the shade Wet. The Wet Lippy Stick is a pearlized finish, so it has a metallic sheen to it. This does not whatsoever. This is totally, again, creamy satin. So, if you don't like the finish of the Lippy Stick, but you like the color, I would recommend checking out just their Lippy Pencil if you like satin formulas, because that is what this is similar to. So my final verdict on these lip liners is that I do really enjoy them. I personally am not someone that needs lip liner. I do not have a problem with my lipstick bleeding, but I do really like them, and I am happy with the shades that I got. But I don't feel a need to buy every Lippy Pencil to match every Lippy Stick, but I do enjoy these. I would recommend them. I think the formula and the color selection is really wonderful. Now moving on to the Lippy Stick. Again, price and availability $5. So for packaging and the applicator, it is the same as that Lippy Primer. On the bottom you have the name and also a color swatch, which is really helpful when you have all these lipsticks, especially if you can store them standing up like this or store them in a clear container where you can have the color swatch facing out. So that's helpful, and it has the name here and it has ColourPop written in holographic writing, which I think is really cute. And my favorite thing about this is the applicator, because it is not only small but it's also angled. There are other brands that do have a small applicator like the Buxom Big and Healthy lipsticks, but it is rounded. So the fact that no matter what, this will always have an angle to it is really helpful for getting around the Cupid's bow and to really help line the outside of your lips and fill them in. I think that I love the precision of the applicator. That is probably my favorite part about the packaging. Also, when you take off the cap, as you can see, this part of the plastic matches your lipstick, which I think is really helpful as well. So I really love the packaging. It's one of my favorite parts about this product. So now I'm going to read you the claims from their little pamphlet, and then I'm going to get into the texture and finish of the lipsticks. So all of our Lippy Stick formulas contain vitamin E, mango, avocado, and shea butter for added comfort and moisture, because we're cool like that. none of our Lippy formulas contain any nasty ingredients like parabens or sulfates. Right here it has a list of the 5 finishes and it has descriptions of them, so I'm going to read that to you as well. So I only have 3 of the 5 finishes. I have the glossies, satins, and mattes, but there are also pearlized finishes and hyper glossy. There are only, I think, 3 pearlized finishes right now. One of them is wet. I have the lip pencil but not the lipstick. And the hyper glossy formula was introduced during their holiday collection, but they did just release 4 individual hyper glossy finishes. So now I'm going to read you the claims of their finishes. It says that for the glossy finish, it is a medium full coverage packed with moisture that feels extra creamy and buttery with a glossy finish. In my opinion, it does give nice medium full coverage. It does feel moisturizing, but it also feels thick on my lips. I feel like it's almost too creamy. I have a tendency to want to blot off a top layer of it because it is too creamy. Also, another thing about the glossies is that the way that they wear, I find that I get a line in my lip of like product buildup when I wear it throughout the day, so that's kind of gunky and yucky. So sometimes I will just kind of wipe off the inner rim or just wipe it off and apply it again. So that is kind of annoying high maintenance factor about the glossy finishes, but I don't have that with these satins or the matte. So for the satin finish, it says that it has a full coverage long wearing lipstick that glides on smoothly with a hydrating feel and it has a modern satin finish. The one that I'm wearing today is a satin. It is full coverage and it does glide on smoothly and it feels hydrating. It reminds me of the Maybelline creamy matte lipsticks because it isn't super matte, but it doesn't have any shimmer or shine to it, but it is comfortable feeling on the lips. So I love the satin formulas and I definitely think it lives up to its claim. For matte, it says it is a full coverage, super long wearing, ultra comfortable, and seriously loaded with pigment and a matte finish. The matte finishes are very pigmented as well. I do find them a slight bit drying, but not near as drying as most matte lipsticks. So it's really up to you whether you would like to have that little bit of moisture or that super matte look. The hyper glossy finish, it says, is full coverage, literally melts onto the lips, feels ultra creamy, and super moisturizing with a glossy finish. I haven't tried any of those, so if you have, please let me know your thoughts and if they live up to those claims and what your thoughts are on them overall. And the pearlized finish, it says, is a medium to full coverage lipstick with highly reflective pearls that gives a pearlized finish. Again, I'm not sure, but I have seen some swatches and it definitely looks pearly, but it does have that medium to full coverage. So I think that the claims are pretty accurate for these, which is wonderful. So now into the shades. You guys know that in my review videos I always have all the shades listed down below with their color descriptions, but I already know that ColourPop offers way too many colors for me to list them all and that the description box would not save because it was too long. So if there's room for it, I'm going to try to go through each finish and list the lipstick shades that go under each finish category. So now I'm going to show you the 7 lippy sticks that I have. I have 1 glossy finish, 5 satin finishes, and 1 matte finish. And I'm so glad that I did it that way because satin is my favorite finish. I really just did it for the colors. I wasn't really paying attention to the finish. So now into the colors that I have. First, I'm going to start with Bound, which is a glossy finish. This is described as a light pink nude, and here is a swatch of Bound. Here is what Bound looks like on my lips. The next shade I have is Frida, which is a satin finish. This is described as a warm mid-tone nude pink. This was created by Coffee Break with Danny. It is the color that I'm wearing today. As you can see on me, this looks a little bit more peachy orange than it does pink, but this lipstick especially looks so different on a ton of different people. So here is a swatch of Frida. So this is what Frida looks like on my lips. The next shade I have is Button, which is a satin finish. This is a pale creamy peach nude, and I have it swatched right here. But as you can see with Frida and Button side by side, Frida does have more pink to it than Button does. Here's what Button looks like on my lips. The next shade is Cake, which is also a satin finish. This is a bright pastel peachy pink. And here is a swatch of Cake on the end. I wanted to swatch these colors side by side so you can see the differences between them. This does have a bit more pink to it, and this is a lot more of a bright pastel. Here is what Cake looks like on my lips. The next shade I have is Brills, which is also a satin finish. This is a true cool tone lavender, and here is a swatch of Brills, a super gorgeous purple color. Here is what Brills looks like on my lips. The next shade I have is Rocket, which is another satin finish. This is a soft, bright pink coral, and here it is swatched right here. Out of all of the ones I have, this is definitely the most pink, and I do see that this is a pink coral color. Here is what Rocket looks like on my lips. The last shade I have is Lumiere, which is a matte finish. This is described as a dusty mauve pink, and here is a swatch of it on the end. This is an exact dupe for NARS Audacious Lipstick in Anna, and this was created by Kathleen Lights here on YouTube. So this is Lumiere. And here is what Lumiere looks like on my lips. So now into scent and flavor. Again, like the rest of our lip products, this is a vanilla scent with a little bit of plastic to it. I am really sensitive to scents, so you might not pick up on the plastic scent, which is good. I hope you don't. It's not that bad, honestly, but it does have a nice light vanilla scent, similar to MAC. For pigmentation, I find that all three finishes are fully opaque on my lips, but again, my lips do not have very much natural pigmentation to them, and also it is going to depend on what shade that you get. If you get a nude shade and a deep shade, obviously the deep shade is going to be more pigmented. That is just how lipsticks work in general. That doesn't really have anything to do with ColourPop specifically, but that Bound shade I have, that light pinky nude, I find shows up really well on me. So for lasting power, I find that the glossy finishes last about 3 hours on me without eating or drinking, and then these satin and matte finishes last on me 4 hours without eating or drinking, which I think is pretty darn good. I also find that all of these reapply really well, which is also pretty important and is not always the case with all lip products. So my overall rating for these Lippy Sticks would be a 4.5 out of 5, and that's just because I can't give a perfect score to any product because I don't think that any product is absolutely flawless, but these are pretty close. There are so many things I love about them. First off, I love the packaging. This skinny slant tip applicator is so incredible. It is perfect for getting around the cupid's bow and the outer lines of your lips, and even if you don't have a lip liner, you can use this like one to line the outside of your lips and then just fill it in. That's what I've been doing with the shades that don't have a lip liner, and I think it works well. I love the color variety. They have so many shades to choose from. I also like that they have so many different finishes. I also really like that all of them are really pigmented. I like the lasting power. So to rate the finishes, I think that my number 1 would be these satins, my number 2 would be the mattes, and my number 3 would be the glossy, which really surprised me because I'm someone that does not like matte lipsticks at all, but I find that these are only a slight bit drying, not a ton drying, so that's really awesome. My favorite are the satins, which is what I'm wearing today. They are creamy feeling, but they are not drying, and they are also not thick. The glossies got last place because they do feel thick and a little bit heavy on my lips, which is not my favorite, but it definitely is manageable. But honestly, guys, I think that these are awesome. They're totally worth the hype. I purchased every single one of these products on my own. I was not sent them. These are incredible. I love that this website sells things for $5. You don't get a ton of products in here, but honestly, how often are you going to go through a lipstick? I love the fact that these are $5 because it makes me want to be more adventurous and try out different colors. I have also done a review on their eyeshadows, which I will have linked down below in case you want to see that. So let me know your favorite shades because I do want to get more. I'm quite impressed with these. They are incredible, and I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.